Hello everyone, I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'm going to be breaking down our next matchup for UFC 320. In this one, we have Edman Shahbazyan taking on Andre Muniz. Shahbazyan is 15-5 as a professional, 3-2 in his last 5 fights, while Muniz is 24-7, 2-3 as a professional. Now looking at Shahbazyan's last 5 fights, he got ragdolled or mauled, really, by Anthony Hernandez, but seemingly everyone is getting mauled by Fluffy, so no shame in the loss whatsoever to me. Then he knocks out AJ Dotson, and then most recent loss, he gets submitted by Gerald Mearshart in a fight where he was looking really good, but GM3 just pulled the GM3 and got a submission after getting hurt and dropped multiple times. But now, most recently this year anyway, he's now on a 2-fight win streak. In February, he knocked out Dylan Bucka like he was supposed to. There's no way to phrase it other than that. And then beats Andre Petrowski via decision in June, where at least there were some very good positives to take from that fight, where Shahbazyan didn't gas out because of his own skills, or he didn't gas himself out after 15 minutes, and showing a better cardio for sure. And it seems like what's really going to take to tire him out, because that's always been his weakness, is his gas tank, is his opponents are going to have to meet his pressure and offense, their pressure and offense, and escalate just like the activity in order to help gas out Shahbazyan. Now looking at Muniz, his last 5 fights, he's beat Uriah Hall via decision at UFC 276, then gets submitted by Brendan Allen in, I believe it was March of last year, or sorry, 2023, if not February. Then he gets TKO'd by Paul Craig. Then his last win, which was, I believe, November of 2023, if I'm not mistaken, he beats Jung Sung Park, but honestly, I didn't think he won that fight. I thought Park won it off damage, or at least off the striking. And then most recently, he gets knocked out by Ikram Aliaskarov in this April of this year. So looking at this fight, if this was a few years ago, say around the Gerald Mearshart fight, or hell, even the AJ Dobson fight, I think Muniz would have a chance because he's very good with pressure. Now on the feet, he's going to be stiff and slow, and Shahbazyan could pick him apart. But once he gets to the ground, however, that is Muniz's world. He's an elite BJJ practitioner. I mean, he broke Jacare Souza's arm, and Souza was an ADCE champion. So that really says to the grappling prowess of Muniz. Now on the feet, like I said, he's pretty slow and stiff, but he does throw out some good kicks, I will say that. And he's done better over the course of his career in trying to implement a good wrestling game and good top pressure, not just fight off his back. So I do applaud him for that. But man, I don't know what it is as of recent, but Muniz does not seem to be very trigger happy. At least when he's dealing with pressure in on himself, he just wilts. He kind of just starts circling back to the cage and just starting moving backwards. And that's what's cost him in his last few fights, where Aliaskarov caught him with the left hook, and then it was pretty much a wrap. I apologize for that. Next, giving me some problems. But, as I was saying, and then in like the fight where Brendan Allen, he got out grappled and out submitted, and similarly with Paul Craig, where he kind of started giving up pressure. Granted, though, that was more because he literally clashed his head onto Craig's jaw in the grappling. And then Craig started fighting with his own offense and went for a takedown. Now, for Shahbazyan, one of the biggest things he's always had was his gas tank. I wouldn't say it was his wrestling defense was the biggest issue, because you think of like the grapplers he's fought, right? Mozart Evloev, Fluffy, Gerald Mearshart, Derek Brunson, and Jack Hermanson. Very high-level grapplers, all in their own right. Very different types of grappling styles, too. And so I don't really fault him for that kind of takedown defense, especially who he's up against. And he did defend a lot of takedowns from all of them. It's just, though, his gas tank was always an issue. I tell you what, man, that Derek Brunson fight was an omen. And that fight was like about, a decade ago? Half a decade, for sure. Where he had, like I said, he was shining so bright in the first round, and then as it went on, it just got worse and worse and worse. Now, he's done his best to shore up a lot of those deficiencies, Shahbazyan, by training at Extreme Couture with Eric Ninson and Chris Curtis, Sean Strickland, all them who are very good at managing their gas tank. And it shows. In his Petrowski fight, he showed to be much better with managing his gas tank over 15 minutes when he's not exerting himself trying to fight off an enemy coming at him. And in this type of fight, I kind of see the same thing. Now, I think Muniz is a bit of a step up from Petrosian if we're looking at overall the danger he presents, at least in the grappling sense, because he could submit Shahbazyan for sure. But at the same time, I think he's offering less resistance on the feet than Petrowski would. I mean, I don't know what was with Petrowski in that fight, but typically speaking, Petrowski, I think, would have been much more dangerous on the feet than what Muniz would be on the feet. Looking at the overall physical stats, not too much difference. What's shocking for me is Muniz is going to have the taller or the longer reach at 78 inches in comparison to Shahbazyan 75 inch. Height-wise, Shahbazyan 6'1", Muniz 6'2", to Muniz is 6'1", so not too much difference in the overall height either. Overall, I think Shahbazyan is going to have a lot of the same success he had in the Petrowski fight. The biggest question is, does he knock out Muniz? I think he could. Oh, boy. Sorry for that. I think he can. I think he can catch Muniz early, and I think he can hurt him. The only thing I would think is Shahbazyan does not want to follow him onto the ground. That's the same mistake he made with Mearshart. Once he hurt Mearshart and dropped him, he just followed him onto the ground instead of letting him get back up, and eventually just blew the gas tank and trying to finish him. So I think if Shahbazyan is smarter in this one and lets Muniz come to him and counter-strike, or my apologies, not that. If he drops Muniz, he lets him up and never gives him really a chance to recover. Just keep on the pressure, keep going on the front foot, attacking, but being smart, calculated pressure, calculated offense. Don't just rush him. That's where I think Shahbazyan is going to have a lot of success. I can also see him just cruising to a decision, just staying safe on the feet, throwing distance strikes, and just racking up points. I could see either one, but I definitely see Shahbazyan winning. I tell you, man, if he gets caught in a submission, I'll feel like such an idiot. Because, Shahbazyan has these moments where it looks like, oh, his career's really turned around, then he loses one of these types of matchups, and you're like, oh, man, what the fuck is going on? Has he not learned? Odds-wise, they kind of reflect what I'm thinking is minus 275 for Shahbazyan, plus 215 for Muniz. He should be a big favorite in this one. I think Muniz has slowed down significantly in comparison to some of his earlier fights in the UFC, and I think he's going to get hurt, and I think he's going to get knocked out for it. So I'm officially picking on Edman Shahbazyan via knockout. But that has been my prediction for this card. If you like the video, comment and subscribe. I always like to hear how you guys' opinions are. Next up, we'll have Abatier Goutier versus Tristan Vines. But with that being said, I've been Bo from Brutal Commentary. Thank you all for listening. Take care.